game against Northside, we didn't really know what to expect. And, we got some questions answered, but, going into the first game, still didn't know how the young guys were going to react under the lights in front of a big crowd against a top-ranked Peach County team. And, we made some young team mistakes. I think we ended up starting three sophomores in the secondary. We played probably rotated probably three or four more different sophomores in at some course during the game up front on defense and at linebacker position. And, they made some sophomore mistakes. So I think that, that was a big concern coming in. And then offensively, offensively, I think, I know that we can be really good on offense. And the thing coming in from the scrimmage game, the first quarter against Northside, we sort of was stagnant. And we came out the same way against Peach County. But, after the rain delay and after halftime, we come out and we were able to move the ball up and down the field, but we turned the ball over. That sort of what got the score lopsided, because two of those drives, we were driving, we were either at midfield or on Peach County's territory when we fumbled the ball. So those were concerns coming in, and the things that, could we score in the red zone? Could we finish drives off? And, we showed that we could do it, and then we showed that we couldn't do it. So that's sort of where we were.
Yeah, let's talk about that a minute. You said you had a lot of younger guys starting for the first time, and you could notice kind of coming out a little slow. What changed? What kind of took that slower pace and changed it into scoring?
Well, I think after those guys realized offensively that we had some guys back from last year, but once they realized, hey man, we can play with these guys. We can, the nerves are gone, the butterflies are gone. I think that we started clicking. We started executing, and I think that that comes with a young team not being experienced, and I think that. At each game, we're going to get better and better. We're going to get more experience, and I think that's going to help that out.
No doubt about it. Well, there was a big touchdown play in the first half. Talk about that a minute. Talk about did that kind of get the sideline boosted back up, get some energy back going?
Yeah, no, absolutely. We take a lot of pride in our special teams, and Quay Green and boy, did we need it at that time. He took a 90-yard kickoff, 90 yards for a touchdown. Our kickoff return team did an outstanding job blocking it up. And, after going back and watching the film, they might have been two or three other times on kickoff return that we were one or two blocks away from breaking a couple more. And so that was a huge game, a huge time in the game that might have sparked us a little bit, offensively too. That hey, we're back in this thing,
Right.
So I think that was huge. Our special teams was pretty solid the other night.
No doubt about it. Well, then the weather delay happens. What do you kind of do during the weather delay to keep the morale up and make sure the guys are still locked in?
We hadn't had to do that a lot. That's good. But what we did, our team it was sort of a calm storm. We went in, we didn't know how long we were going to be in a delay. We were able to get video out and set the defense and offense down and settle them down and watch the plays that we just had played. And, the guys were locked in. They were asking questions. A lot of the things that we practiced for Peach County were expecting from him that we saw it, and we just didn't execute it. And I think the delay was, I think our kids handled it pretty good.
Awesome. So you came out for a little bit more, and then it was time for halftime, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what was kind of going into halftime? What was it like? What was the vibe like in the locker room, and what did y'all kind of go over?
We when we went back in at halftime, we scored again, I think, and it was 42-14, I think, at halftime. And I said, guys, we're gonna get the ball to start the second half. We go out there and score. We're gonna cut this thing in half, and we just get back in this thing. And Lord and behold, we didn't get many stops the first half on defense. I don't know if we stopped them at all, but that was the other thing we talked about. And we come out we take the opening drive, we go down and score, make it 42-21. Defense gets a 3 and out. We go down and score. Or that might have been the one that we had a drive, the interception, but we scored again. Oh no, we got down and stalled and had to kick a field goal and made it 24.
Yep.
And then of course, after we scored, Peach County come down and scored. So but we were moving the ball, and we finally got a stop on defense. So I thought our guys responded there at halftime. I thought we came out pretty good.
Awesome. I think we're going to take a break here. We'll roll some first half highlights, then we'll be right back to talk about the second half.
When doubt surrounds your picture of tomorrow, hope from others can light the way forward. A whole team of people focused on what's next, devoted to medicine that envisions the future so you can do the same. The power of second chances is here at Emory Healthcare, but its beauty shines brightest when you bring it home.
Real recognize real. Real taste, unmistakably Sprite. Real refreshment, crisp lemon lime. You see it and answer to thirst, but never thirsty. Sprite, the clear favorite.
Welcome back in, everybody. It's the weekly Kevin Smith Coaches Show. We just got done talking about the first half. Coach, let's talk about the second half. Obviously, we just talked about what halftime was like. Talk a little bit more about some of the adjustments that were made in the second half and what was kind of different.
The challenge at the half was, and some of the adjustments that we made was, offensively is where we had some guys back, and I challenge them. If you're our playmakers, we got to make plays. We got to step up to the challenge.
Right.
And then, we talked about defensively, some adjustments we had to do to try to get some stops. And we were able to conjure up a couple of stops. And we come out to half and we scored, and we cut the lead. We cut the lead down in half, and we felt like that we had a chance to try to get back into it if we could get some stops. And we ended up shooting ourselves in the foot with some missed tackles and some turnovers.
Real recognize real. Real taste, unmistakably Sprite. Real refreshment, crisp lemon lime. You see it and answer to thirst, but never thirsty. Sprite, the clear favorite.
When doubt surrounds your picture of tomorrow, hope from others can light the way forward. A whole team of people focused on what's next. Devoted to medicine that envisions the future so you can do the same. The power of second chances is here at Emory Healthcare, but its beauty shines brightest when you bring it home.
Well, Coach, we've talked about adjustments kind of coming into the second half, and there was a lot of big plays on both sides of the ball. Talk about what you think the biggest play might have been in the second half.
I think when we cut it to 42-21, I think we got a stop, and then we were driving, and we ended up having to take a field goal. If we could have stuck it in there, I think that could have made things a little bit different. I think Peach ended up going back down and scoring. And then we get the ball back and we're driving and we're out midfield and we turn the ball over and they go back down and score. And, those were some big plays in the game. Bryson Gordon was one that caught some balls the other night that I think the one at midfield right there, the one that they were able to get from him was sort of a big play at that time in the game.
Right. Who were some of those other guys that kind of stepped up?
Yeah, I think J.D. Arnett. I got his stats here somewhere. He had 6 catches for 98 yards and a touchdown. Our quarterback Marty Cobb was 23 of 36 passes for 229 yards, and Cam Oliver, our running back, was 12 carries for 39 yards and a touchdown. I think those guys were, we had some other guys to catch the ball, but I think those guys were the big guys that made plays the other night for us.
Awesome. Well, it sounds like y'all had a lot of good plays. I think we'll take a break here. We'll roll those second half highlights, and then we'll come back and talk about the week that's coming up.
Real recognize real. Real taste, unmistakably Sprite. Real refreshment, crisp lemon lime. You see it and answer the thirst, but never thirsty. Sprite, the clear favorite.
When doubt surrounds your picture of tomorrow, hope from others can light the way forward. A whole team of people focused on what's next. Devoted to medicine that envisions the future so you can do the same. The power of second chances is here at Emory Healthcare, but its beauty shines brightest when you bring it home.
Welcome back in, everybody. Now the page is turning, and it's on to another week. You guys got to go to Dublin this week. What's kind of the biggest thing so far that's sticking out with Dublin watching the film?
Just watching the film, Coach Holmes and his staff do an outstanding job. They're wing tee, they're old school wing tee, and they huddle up. They play a lot of guys both ways. They're very talented up front on offense and defensive line. They have very good skill guys. I think the thing that sticks out to me the most is how well they execute. They run a lot of misdirection stuff that's going to take a lot of eye discipline, a lot of defensive eye discipline on our side to slow them down. And they play hard. They're well coached, and our work's cut out for us this week, going down there in a place that we hadn't been since I've been here, going down to the Shamrock Bowl. And they were 8-3 last year, I believe, and I think they got most of their guys back, and they're another team that's probably going to contend for a state championship this year.
Wow. Well, I don't want to give away y'all's whole game plan, but what are kind of some of the things you want to clean up from this week going into next week that you want to go down there?
I think we got to limit explosive plays. We got to tackle on defense. Offensively, we got to sustain drives, and we can't turn the ball over. And I think and one advantage that we may have, we're a little deeper than them. They have a lot of guys that play both ways. They're used to a shorter game. We're used to a longer game, up-tempo game. So hopefully, if we can execute on offense and slow them down on defense, we'll have an opportunity to maybe wear them down, so to speak, use our depth to our advantage.
Well, Coach, looking forward to see what you guys can do down in Dublin. Sounds like y'all got your work cut out for you.
Oh, yeah.
Last time we were here, you gave us this coin with the coffee bean on it. We have not forgot about it.
Yeah.
Talked about that coffee bean culture and being able to come back and bounce back from mistakes and learn from every experience. So talk about what is kind of the vibe in the locker room as you guys are trying to learn from week 1 going into week 2.
That coffee pot, that water got really hot the other night.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't see a lot of carrots, and I didn't see a lot of eggs. Our guys, they came to the sideline. They were looking to be locked in at halftime, even after the game, after the disappointment. But I think from our coffee bean culture, anytime you get beat down like we did, how you going to respond? We ain't got time to stick our lips out and feel sorry for ourselves. Nobody else is going to feel sorry for us. We got to, how we going to respond? And that's a big thing that I'm anxious to see Friday as we come out and play Dublin, see how we're going to respond.
I'm anxious to see it too, Coach. We wish you guys luck on the road, and thank you for your time today and sitting down doing the show with us.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank y'all for having me.
We'll see you guys back next week on next week's show, the Kevin Smith Coaches Show on Middle Georgia Sports Live.
When doubt surrounds your picture of tomorrow, hope from others can light the way forward. A whole team of people focused on what's next. Devoted to medicine that envisions the future so you can do the same. The power of second chance